It's about that time for a rant. So, I don't know how many of you guys run businesses or own a business, may have worked for a business in a capacity to where you were like responsible for a lot of the management side of things, right? I've been running a business for a couple of years, since like 2020. 2 businesses. And every year, there are 2 specific times of the year that absolutely make or break like the entire season. And that's Christmas and Thanksgiving. This year in particular, I decided that I was going to keep my stores open. And I was going to give a proper preemptive alert message to my community and tell them like, hey, if you do not order by this date, or if you order after this date, you're not guaranteed to get your order before this type of date because of manufacturing. I'm to the point now where I don't necessarily do a lot of things in-house anymore, as far as I used to do a lot of stuff as far as like pressing shirts, running my retail bill. I used to do a lot of shirt presses. I got all that stuff still in my studio, in my garage and stuff like that. I used to do a lot of that. And then COVID came around and I had to rethink, because people weren't going out to stores and doing all the shopping anymore. They were doing it all online. So I had to completely redesign my business concept. To an online, basically, retail concept. And these 2 holidays completely, it's like a blessing and a curse every year. And the reason being is because I ship a lot of product. My product has to go through a third party so you can get your items. That third party is the postal office, FedEx, UPS, whatever you want to call them, DHL, all those good things, right? Mainly USPS is the absolute monster during these 2 holidays. This holiday has been a nightmare. I decided to keep the stores open, like I said. I gave the preemptive alerts to my community. I should have just closed, because everybody who ordered during the week of Christmas alone, and it was a lot of orders, all those orders, at least about 10 to 15 orders, they all got lost in transit. I want you to let that sink in for a second. 10 to 15 plus orders all got lost in transit. So everybody who ordered from me, from both of my stores during the Christmas break, literally every single order was lost. Now, as a business owner, it's a nightmare situation that you don't want to have to deal with, right? You're in the business of making money, not giving it back. It was horrendous. I'm still dealing with it. It's been horrendous and I'm still dealing with it. The other downside to having a manufacturer versus doing it all yourself, one of the downsides to that is that you are at the mercy of that manufacturer. What do I mean by that? I mean, depending on where your manufacturer is located, you're going to have to deal with certain things that you may not be used to dealing with. So for example, my manufacturer is in China. So I have to deal with, and I have to struggle through, and I have to like sit through it. When they have holidays that we don't share here in America, you have to educate your community on that. You have to let your potential customers know and your returning customers know, hey, there's going to be a delay between this date and this date. They're looking at you like, why? I mean, you make it. They don't know all that. So on top of the Christmas thing, everything getting lost, my manufacturer, they have a Chinese New Year that they have every year, obviously, right? It just happens to run right after our Christmas, right? And so they're out for like another week and a half, 2 weeks. And it's like, you're in the same conundrum again. It's like I have to re-educate my buyers, put out the same alerts again, or just close. until those dates, until they come back. And it's like, I am completely cool with it. It just seems like a lot of customers that they see the alerts and they still order and they still respond to the, the acknowledgement like this is going to take a little longer than normal. They still end up complaining. They still want their money back. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So that's what I've been dealing with, man. And like I said, if you are a business owner and you deal with retail, or you ship a lot of things out, you create things, because I don't just do clothing stuff. I do a lot of wood crafting things with my laser cutter and engraver and things like that nature. So those things I can kind of control to a certain point. I can't control anything once I ship it out. Once Postal picks it up, I don't control that part. So it's really, really frustrating as a business owner when things get lost. So things to consider if you are in the retail business or you do ship things out, things to consider. Things to really consider. Number one, get yourself a P.O. box, or if you have an actual business address, like you have a brick and mortar, use that address, right? Definitely need that. Number two, make sure you purchase insurance on everything that you send out, right? USPS, for example, has automatic insurance up to $100 on every package minimum. I think they raised that. It used to be like $50. If you want any insurance above that, you have to pay for that. So if I'm sending out $300 worth of product, obviously USPS is only covering up to $100 worth of product. So if those items get lost in mail, my customers can then go file a claim with USPS and say, hey, look, I've got insurance on this. You guys lost it, or it got stolen or misplaced, whatever. They investigate, they will give that customer their money back based on that insurance that was purchased for that item. If you don't do that, you're screwed, right? If you don't do that, you're screwed. And it's happened to me before where I've had orders that were well over $200, $300, $400. You package everything up, it's nice, secure, everything is good. You haven't had any issues, really before. You send it off like you do all the other packages, and this one gets lost. But guess what? You forgot to pay insurance on it. So I have a $500 order that went out. It was only covered by $100 insurance because I didn't pay attention and I didn't pay for the extra insurance. And now this customer wants his money back because the package is lost. So I have no package. They have no package. I have their money. They want their money back. I give their money back. I'm still out of all of my goods. I lose, right? So these are things that I've been dealing with this particular year, and it is absolutely frustrating. I'm hoping that it clears up quickly, but thankfully this year, the manufacturer I do have, they took complete ownership. They had something going on, and then they reached out very quickly and said, hey, look, all these orders, we apologize. We're refunding all that money. So they're refunding me everything, which I'm happy about, but it's just more frustrations as a business owner. So again, if you guys are business owners and you can relate, we got our businesses running on Etsy, our own website. So I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing to be a business owner, but it can be a headache at certain times, man. This is just one of those times. Thank you for letting me rant. Catch you in the next one.